Today, we're diving into Splendor Duel. It's a fantastic, super strategic two-player game where you become rival jewelers back in the Renaissance, each trying to build the most impressive business.
So you've just cracked open the box, right? You've got all these beautiful pieces laid out, and you're probably thinking, okay, now what?
Well, don't worry. You are in exactly the right place. In this quick explainer, we're going to cover everything you need to know to get your first game up and running.
All right, first things first. What's the goal here? What are you actually trying to do? Well, in Splendor Duel, it's all about becoming the best jeweler. But, and this is the cool part, there are actually 3 different ways you can prove it.
Your goal is pretty straightforward. Just be the first player to meet one of those 3 winning conditions. And I mean, the moment you do it, the game stops, bam, you win. It's that direct.
Okay, so let's get this thing set up. It's actually a really quick and logical process, so it won't take long at all.
Okay, let's walk through this step by step. First, you're going to shuffle the 3 jewel card decks. You'll see they have little dots on the back, 1, 2, or 3, so just stack them separately. Next, you'll lay out cards from these decks to make it kind of pyramid shape on the table. Then, step 3, pop the game board right below that pyramid and just scatter all 25 of those gem and pearl tokens randomly onto it. After that, put the 3 privilege scrolls somewhere easy to reach, maybe above the board. Then, the 4 royal cards go below the board. And finally, you just need to pick who goes first. Whoever doesn't go first gets a little head start. They get to take one of those privilege scrolls right away.
All right, we are all set up. So, how do you actually play? Well, a turn in Splendor Duel is broken down into a few really simple steps. So here's the flow of your turn. First, you can take an optional action or not. Totally up to you. Then, you must perform exactly 1 mandatory action. And finally, at the very end of your turn, you always check, did I just win? So that optional action, it's all about using a privilege scroll. If you have one, you can cash it in. You return it to the supply, and in exchange, you get to grab any single gem or pearl token you want from the board. This is a huge help for snagging that one perfect token you're missing. Okay, after you've decided on your optional stuff, we get to the main event of your turn. You have to pick one of these 3 mandatory actions, and this choice, this is where your whole strategy comes into play.
Your first option is simple, take tokens. You can grab up to 3 tokens from the board as long as they're all touching in a straight, uninterrupted line. Think horizontal, vertical, or even diagonal. The only catch is the line can't have any gaps or gold tokens in the middle.
All right, action number 2 is to reserve a card. This is a neat 2-part move. First, you take a gold token from the board. And get this is the only way you can get your hands on these powerful wild tokens. After you grab your gold, you pick a card. Either one you can see in the pyramid, or you can take a chance on the top card of any deck, and you tuck it into your hand. Just remember, you can only have 3 cards reserved at once.
And your third and final option is to purchase a card. This is where you cash in your tokens to buy a card, either from the pyramid or one you've already reserved in your hand. You pay the cost, and it becomes part of your collection. This is really the core of the game. It's how you build your engine and start marching towards victory.
So why is buying cards so important? Well, here's the magic. Every single card you buy gives you a permanent discount for all your future purchases. It's like having a permanent gem of that color. So the more cards you buy, the cheaper other cards get. You start building this incredible momentum, this snowball effect that lets you buy bigger and better cards.
Now, right after you purchase a card, there's a quick little checklist to run through. First, if the card has a special ability, you do that right away. Second, check to see if you have enough crowns to snag one of those royal cards. And finally, do a quick token count. If you're holding more than 10, you gotta discard down to the limit. So you're out there, buying cards, building up this amazing jewelry empire. But how do you actually close the deal and win? Let's revisit those 3 ways to win the game.
The first way to win is all about prestige. The second you rack up 20 or more prestige points across all your cards, that's it. Game over. You are the winner. The second path is all about impressing royalty. If you collect 10 or more crowns, those little icons on some of the cards, you instantly win.
And the third way to win is by becoming a specialist. If you can manage to collect 10 prestige points, but they're all from cards of the very same color, you've basically mastered that gem. And, yep, you guessed it, you win immediately.
Okay, before we set you loose, let's just quickly go over a few key rules. These are the ones people sometimes forget, and remembering them will make your first game go so much smoother. Okay, rapid fire. Remember, you can only have 10 tokens at the end of your turn. Gold tokens are wild, they can be anything, but you can only get them by reserving a card. You can't have more than 3 reserve cards in your hand. And the biggest one? The second you hit a victory condition, you win. Instantly. No waiting around.
And believe it or not, that is it. You now know everything you need to play your first game of Splendor Duel.
This game is all about clever moves and thinking ahead. So go on, sit down with your rival and get ready to prove who's the best jeweler of the Renaissance.
So as you start playing, think about it. Which path are you going to take? Are you going for all-out prestige, trying to win over the royals? Or will you become a master of a single gem? Which path to victory will you master first?